Zenimax has found themselves in Australia over the Fallout 76 refund issue. The court is the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, an independent Commonwealth statutory authority whose main job it is to enforce Australia's Consumers Act of 2010. Zenimax claims that because you downloaded the 58 gigabytes of the game, you weren't entitled to a refund since it is digital. Well, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission did not agree. When a consumer has purchased a product that has a fault which amounts to a major failure, the Australian consumer law provides them with a right to ask for their choice of either a repair, replacement, or refund. The ACCC went after Zenimax, and Zenimax acknowledges that its conduct might have misled certain Australian consumers.
This is a community-supported legal education channel. Find out how you can support our mission at the links in the description below.
Okay, so what we're going to read is called an undertaking, and it says here, a solicitor who has given an undertaking in the course of legal practice must honor that undertaking and ensure that timely and effective performance of the undertaking occurs unless released by the recipient. Okay, so it's like a contract. It's like a settlement or a binding settlement or a binding arbitration or something. So that's what we're about to look at here. The undertaking is a court enforceable promise, as if it was a court order. Yeah, so it's a settlement that has become incorporated by the court. So if you were unlucky enough to buy Fallout between November 24th, 2018, the Australian launch, and June 1st, 2019, and it did not meet your expectations, and if you happen to live in Australia, you can now choose to get a full refund and lose your Fallout 76 access. Let's see what the court has to say. So this is the undertaking to the ACCC, Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. The opposition was Zenimax Media, Zenimax Europe, Zenimax Australia, and they go over the parties, they go over jurisdiction, and then let's start with the background. Bethesda Net is Zenimax's online gaming publishing company and delivery platform. Bethesda can be accessed at Bethesda.net. We're off to a great start, Australia. From 10 June 2018, Zenimax made available for sale Fallout 76. The Australian consumer law contains statutory guarantees which provide consumers with a basic guaranteed level of protection for goods and services which they acquire. Consumers who are supplied with goods or services that fail to meet the statutory consumer guarantees are entitled to certain remedies. These statutory consumer guarantees cannot be excluded, restricted, or modified. So, that whole waiver of warranty thing, no express or implied warranties or whatever, you can't waive these. The ACCC has periodically raised concerns that some suppliers were making false or misleading representations to Australian consumers about their statutory consumer guarantee rights in relation to the circumstances in which the statutory consumer guarantees apply and the remedies available. Section 18 provides that a person must not engage in conduct that is misleading or deceptive, and Section 29, in relevant part, provides that a person must not, in connection with the supply of goods or services, make a false or misleading representation concerning any warranty, guarantee, or right or remedy. The ACCC received complaints alleging that Zenimax made statements to certain Australian consumers which were likely to have contravened the above sections. In particular, the Commission considers that certain statements made by consumer support representatives engaged by or on behalf of Zenimax or Bethesda in response to complaints by those customers that the Fallout 76 game they had purchased through the store or third-party retailers was faulty, and certain statements made in customer support documents for the Fallout 76 game that were displayed to users of the store, that those statements were likely to have conveyed false or misleading representations to the effect that Australian consumers had no entitlement to any refunds from Zenimax for Fallout 76 games purchased through the Bethesda store which had been downloaded, that Zenimax had modified or restricted statutory consumer guarantees or warranties in relation to games purchased, that Australian consumers had no entitlement to any refunds for games purchased from third parties, and that Zenimax had modified or restricted statutory consumer guarantees or warranties in relation to those third-party sales. Zenimax now acknowledges that the conduct outlined in those paragraphs above is likely to have misled certain Australian consumers about their rights under the Australian consumer law in connection with statutory consumer guarantees, and is likely to have contravened the above sections. Zenimax has agreed to resolve the concerns by the provision of this undertaking. So remember, this is an agreement. You're going to see Zenimax CFO, their signature on the bottom of this. So this is an agreement. This is not somebody had to make them or whatever. This is that they acknowledge openly these things. So here are the undertakings. Zenimax undertakes that for a period of 3 years commencing on the date of this undertaking coming into effect, it will not make any representation to an Australian consumer that Zenimax has a no refunds policy, or that Australian consumers are not entitled under any circumstances to a refund. Zenimax undertakes that for a period of 3 years commencing this undertaking, it will not make any representation about third parties about no refunds coming from games purchased from a third party, or that consumers are not entitled to a refund under any circumstances. Zenimax undertakes that within 120 days of the commencement date, that they will amend the following consumer documents. What should I do if I want to modify my purchase of Fallout 76? Who should I contact about billing issues with Fallout 76? They will also update consumer scripts and instructions relating to refund requests. Zenimax undertakes, for the purposes of this undertaking, that within 90 days, it will take reasonable steps to contact each Australian customer who attempted a refund request and who has not already been provided a refund, and they will offer a refund during a 90-day notice period, and something about 20 days, they'll provide the refund within 20 days of acceptance. Or if they require any details from the consumer within 20 days of receiving those details. Players who accept refunds will lose their entitlement to access and play the game. Isn't that the joke? Players basically don't have access and entitlement to play the game as is. At least not when I logged in better part of a year ago, and with high hopes and wide eyes, and was extraordinarily disappointed to have purchased not one, not two, but 3 copies of the game between Kaylee and I. We wanted the collector's edition bobblehead, which I got. Great. They ruined my favorite franchise. Within 180 days of the commencement of this undertaking, they will report to the ACCC the total number of consumers offered refunds, those who responded, those that they provided refunds to. They will comply with the Consumer Law Compliance Program. Within 120 days, they will establish and implement a compliance program. They will maintain the compliance program. They will provide copies of documents. They acknowledge that this undertaking is publicly available, that the ACCC may refer to it, and that the undertaking does not derogate from the rights and remedies available to anyone affected by the alleged conduct. And then you see that it is signed by Cindy Talent, the CFO of Zenimax Media, and James Leader, President and COO, 10 October 2019. And they signed on behalf of Zenimax Europe, and then Simon Alty signed on behalf of Zenimax Australia, in addition to Cindy Talent. And then here's their consumer law compliance program. They'll appoint a director or senior manager to oversee the compliance program, and they will appoint a legal practitioner within 60 days. Within 90 days, they will issue an internal policy statement about how they will handle refunds and refund statements or advertising. And within 90 days, they will retrain everybody, and they will ensure the training is developed by a qualified compliance professional, and they will implement a complaints handling system and train staff. Within 180 days, they will complete a risk review. Any areas of Zenimax promotion or supply of products to Australian consumers which are not complying with the provisions of the Australian consumer law. So they're gonna also look over things generally and take steps. They will report to senior management and complete further risk review and provide these documents to the Australian Compliance and Consumer Commission. So yeah, if you are an Australian consumer, you should check out that website, Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, and see about getting your Fallout 76 refund. If somehow you purchased it outside of those dates, I don't know that it applies to you, I'm sorry. So, but good for you, Australia. Now, if only the US and the rest of the world could fall out with Fallout as well. So that is our show. Thank you for joining me. I am Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and this is Lawful Masses, your favorite legal education and legal news channel on YouTube and sometimes on Twitch, and maybe we'll see where else we go. Thank you for your financial support on patreon.com/ljfrench and sponsors.com/law. This channel and its mission would not be possible without your financial support. Thank you very much to our current supporters at the $50 level in November. Thank you to Joe Tyson, Aspernari, John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Eevi, Kyle Mudrak, Michael Pearce, Spirit Bear, Jan Negrey, Daniel Perez, SnorreW, Blackleaf, Benjamin Hitov, and Steven. And thank you to the $5 plus supporters scrolling on the LED panel behind me and in front of me on the crawl. We'll put some dog or travel B-roll here for your mild entertainment while we outro you. Thank you for joining me again. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney. We'll see you in the videos that drop. Have a great weekend. Love you all. Bye. Yeah, he was nuts. So is she. She's like that too. Poked herself in the eye. She's got a splinter in her eye, and she's like, let's keep playing. $600 to a doggy ophthalmologist to get the splinter taken out of her eye. At least he didn't clobber the camera.
So did they tell you what the difference would be when using platinum?
Like 10 or 15%, but I haven't asked for estimates from everybody like that. So I'm waiting for the one from Murphy's.